So when making chilaquiles, the first thing you want to make is the salsa. To make the salsa, you will need about 3 tomatoes and a couple of jalapeno peppers. I didn't have any jalapeno peppers, so I used whatever peppers I could find in my fridge. I'm not really sure what these ones are called. You can add more or less depending on how spicy you want the salsa. I didn't want it that spicy since my nephew was going to be eating and he's only 2 years old. So I only used about 3 or 4 of the small peppers. Remember, the smaller the pepper, the spicier it is. So if you don't want it that spicy, use some jalapeno peppers that are a little bigger. So what you're going to do is fill up a pan with water, and you're going to put the ingredients in the water and you are going to boil them. You can tell they're about done when the tomatoes start falling apart, and the chili peppers, they actually change to a different color. So once you get to about that point, you'll be ready to blend them in a blender. If you see the tomato that's up in the corner, it's already ripped open. So the blender I have isn't the very best, so I will try my best to do this. We got a really cheap one because my brother broke our last one. So what I'm going to be doing is putting the tomatoes and the chili peppers into the blender, and I'm going to be adding some stuff to it. So they're very hot, so you don't want to touch them with your hands, obviously. I'm going to add some salt and some garlic powder. Don't be afraid to go a little overboard with the salt. Depends on how much you want. If you want to use less salt or substitute with something else, you're free to do so. I put garlic salt in it because I forgot to put a garlic clove in the water to boil with it. So you can put garlic cloves in the water to boil with the ingredients for the salsa, and then that just makes it a little tastier. But I totally forgot, and so I used the garlic powder. And so then you want to add a little bit of water from your tap, or you don't want to use the water that you boiled the tomatoes in. And then you blend. You make it all soupy. The next thing we're going to be doing is making the chilaquiles. So I use corn tortillas. I have never used flour tortillas in my life. We're going to cut them up. Some people whip them. I like cutting them with a knife. I feel it's just easier and you get more done quicker. The knife is kind of dull, so it takes a little while. And I cut them into either eighths, usually eighths. It just makes more, and I made enough for about 3 of us. Since we were only 3 of us at home at the time. My phone stopped working when I put the tortillas in the oil, so what you're going to do is put oil in a pan, heat it up, and then put the tortillas in there and let them fry. Kind of like if you were making tortilla chips. You want to get the tortillas really crispy. You don't want to move them around too much because when they fall apart and they're soggy. So what I'm doing here is flipping them over after the bottom layer has already gotten crispy. You want to get them all oiled pretty well and make sure that they're all cooking. You don't want any raw tortillas in your chilaquiles. Once the tortillas are ready, checking to see if they're ready. They're about sticking together. They're very crispy, crunchy. Then we're going to add the chili, the salsa. it will jump out at you. So you might want to lower the heat before you start adding it. And then you're going to mix it around a little bit. And that's it. We're done with the chilaquiles. You can garnish it with some lettuce, some crema, Mexican crema, and then you're done.